Hello friends, you are on the channel Quotes of Great Men. Enjoy watching. If you will notice, there is seldom a telegram in a paper which fails to show up one or more members and beneficiaries of our civilization as promenading with his shirt tail up and the rest of his regalia in the wash. The smallest minds and the selfishest souls and the cowardliest hearts that God makes. Congressman is the trivialist distinction for a full-grown man. It's not the parts of the Bible I don't know that worries me. It's the parts that I do. To someone with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If there wasn't anything to find out, it would be dull. Even trying to find out and not finding out is just as interesting as trying to find out and finding out, and I don't know, but more so. This editor is a critic. He has pulled out his carving knife and his tomahawk and is starting after a book which he is going to have for breakfast. That is a society editor, sitting there elegantly dressed, with his legs crossed in that indolent way, observing the clothes the ladies wear, so that he can describe them for his paper and make them out finer than they are and get bribes for it and become wealthy. Heaven is the very last place to come to rest, and don't you be afraid to bet on that. More than 200 death penalties are gone from the law books, but the biblical texts that authorize them remain. We have an insanity plea that would have saved Cain. The administration of the law can never go lax where every individual sees to it that it grows not lax in his own case, or in cases which fall under his eyes. The banging and slamming and booming and crashing were something beyond belief. The cigar box, which the European calls a lift, needs but to be compared with our elevators to be appreciated. The lift stops to reflect between floors. That is all right in Earths, but not in elevators. The American elevator acts like a man's patent purge. It works. Wisdom teaches us that none but birds should go out early, and that not even birds should do it unless they are out of worms. By trampling upon the helpless abroad with unchecked surveillance, Americans have learned, by a natural process, to endure with apathy the like at home. Sagebrush is a very fair fuel, but as a vegetable it is a distinguished failure. Nothing can abide the taste of it but the jackass and his illegitimate child the mule. It is more trouble to make a maxim than it is to do right. But old fools is the biggest fools there is. The fear of lightning is one of the most distressing infirmities a human being can be afflicted with. It is mostly confined to women, but now and then you find it in a little dog, and sometimes a man. There isn't any way to libel the human race. It isn't safe to sit in judgment upon another person's illusion when you are not on the inside. While you are thinking it is a dream, he may be knowing it is a planet. As a thinker and planner, the ant is the equal of any savage race of men. As a self-educated specialist in several arts, she is the superior of any savage race of men. and in one or two high mental qualities she is above the reach of any man, savage or civilized. Out of the unconscious lips of babes and sucklings are we satirized. Let me make the superstitions of a nation, and I care not who makes its laws or its songs either. A person who has during all time maintained the imposing position of spiritual head of 4/5 of the human race and political head of the whole of it must be granted the possession of executive abilities of the loftiest order. Ethical man, a Christian holding 4 aces. Shall we go on conferring our civilization upon the peoples that sit in darkness, or shall we give those poor things a rest? We laugh and laugh, then cry and cry, then feeble laugh, then die. In all my travels, the thing that has impressed me the most is the universal brotherhood of man, what there is of it. I like criticism, but it must be my way. When I am king, they shall not have bread and shelter only, but also teachings out of books, for a full belly is little worth where the mind is starved. The time to begin writing an article is when you have finished it to your satisfaction. By that time you begin to clearly and logically perceive what it is you really want to say. All kings is mostly rapscallions, as far as I can make out. The proverb says that providence protects children and idiots. This is really true. I know because I have tested it. I think the Cincinnati Enquirer must be edited by children. Suppose a man was to come to you and say "Parlez-vous français," what would you think? I'll say, how hard it is that we have to die, a strange complaint to come from the mouths of those who have had to live. A sound heart is a surer guide than an ill-trained conscience. Men in their 20s make love more passionately, but in their 30s they make love much better. Thanks for watching. Check out these educational videos too.